I know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game, and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
When we talk about rewards, everybody got something that they get up out of bed for. Everybody got something that they going for. The challenge that we often come up against is that we start looking at all the obstacles. We start looking at all the obstacles and challenges that confront us, or we think will confront us, once we start to go after what we want. All of y'all know the story of, even if you're not a Christian, everybody knows the story of David and Goliath, right? Because that story gets tossed around a lot. Everybody knows that story, right? So it was this little boy, little shepherd boy, or whatever he was, normal sized boy. He was going up against Goliath, who's this big one-eyed giant. David hits him with a rock from his slingshot and kills Goliath. But a lot of people don't know the real story of David and Goliath. There's a real story. If you read the book called David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell, he explains it in detail. But that's not even the part that I want to talk about. In the story of David and Goliath, I'll give you the background, the part that you need to understand for this stream. Is that okay? So in this, what was happening, there was two groups of armies that used to fight against each other all the time. They used to always go and fight against each other. All this blood would be shed, all these lives would be lost, and somebody would win, somebody would lose. So it was, again, these two groups are about to fight each other again. And the two leaders of each group said to each other before the battle started, before the war started, they said, look, why do we keep fighting against each other and doing all this killing and we losing all these bodies? Why don't we just settle this one time with one last battle and it'll be settled forever? And this is what they decided. The kings of each group, they decided. They're going to send each side is going to send their best soldier. You're going to send your best. We're going to send our best. One person each. Those two guys are going to go at it. Those two guys are going to fight. And whoever wins, that other side, the loser side, all of their armies and all their families and everybody has to become our slaves forever. So whichever side loses, whichever guy loses, his side becomes slaves forever. So you send your best guy, we send our best guy. And they said, all right, cool. Connection's funky, well, nothing I can do about it, so I got to keep going. So one side sent Goliath. Now Goliath, everybody knew who Goliath was because he's this big guy. He's like 7 feet tall, I guess, giant. He can only see out of one of his eyes. They sent him. He got this big sword. He's just this huge guy. And back then, this is when everything was hand-to-hand combat. There wasn't no guns. So this is hand-to-hand combat. Who wants to go hand-to-hand with a guy this size? He's bigger than everybody out there. So then the other side, they needed to send a soldier. So the king is looking through his army like, I'm looking for the person who seems eager or willing to go fight this guy who's super big. Everybody knows he's one of the toughest, strongest soldiers out there. Who wants to fight him? None of the soldiers wanted to fight Goliath. Nobody stepped up and like, yo, I want to do it. I want to take that role. Nobody wanted it. It's kind of like the last second shot in the basketball game. Nobody wanted the ball. So nobody wanted to fight Goliath. Then all of a sudden, David, who wasn't even a soldier, he wasn't even in the army. He was like the water boy, basically. He came out of nowhere up to the king like, yo, I want to go fight Goliath. And all the soldiers is looking at him crazy. The king is looking at him crazy. They like, how are you going to fight? How are you going to fight that guy who's like 3 times bigger than you? And David said, listen, I use a slingshot all the time. I kill bears and lions with my slingshot all the time. I can kill him. Nobody knew what the hell David was talking about. But since nobody else wanted to take on the job of fighting Goliath, they said, all right, well, I guess you got to go. Nobody else wants it. So if you lose, then I guess we'll all be slaves forever. So David goes down there, and long story short, he kills Goliath. There's a whole backstory to how he killed Goliath. If you read the book David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell, he'll explain it, but that's not even my point. The point of it is, I heard somebody talking about this months ago, is that when David went to fight Goliath, the reason he was motivated to do it was not necessarily to save his people from becoming slaves. The reason he went to do it is because the king of that side said, any soldier who steps up and fights Goliath and wins, I'm going to shower you with riches. You'll be rich for the rest of your life. Your whole family will be rich. And you get to marry my daughter, and his daughter was like the most beautiful woman in all the land. That was the motivation that David had to go kill Goliath. See, when David went to fight Goliath, he didn't come up to the king and say, hey, king, how tall is Goliath? Or, hey, how big is his sword? Or, hey, how many men has he killed? Or how many battles has he been in? How much does Goliath bench press? Or how difficult is it going to be to beat him? Or, you know, what are some tips you can give me, King, for how I can beat Goliath? Can you give me some advice? Hey, King, can you log on to YouTube and look up a tutorial on how I can fight Goliath? He didn't ask any of those questions. He didn't ask what were all the challenges he was going to face along the way. He didn't ask how tough is my opposition. He didn't ask who can give me some tips on how I can get better at doing this situation. He didn't ask why is this guy so strong and so mean and so undefeated that nobody wants to go against him. No, he didn't ask any of those questions. All David said was, what do I get if I'm successful? What do I get? I get to save all my people from being slaves. But the main thing he got was you get showered with riches and you get to marry the king's daughter. Everybody wanted to marry the king's daughter. Everybody wanted to be showered with riches because those things you couldn't just go get. Those are things that had to be given to you in those times. David was so motivated by the rewards. He was so motivated by the trophy. He didn't even ask, what are the challenges? What are the setbacks? What are the obstacles that I'm going to go against? What's the reason why no one else has succeeded at this? Why is it that nobody else wants to take on this challenge? He didn't ask any of those questions because guess what? If he had asked those questions, what would David have done? Probably nothing. And there probably would be no David and Goliath story. The story wouldn't have even happened because David would have been thinking like everybody else in the army was thinking, which was, this guy's too big. Nobody's ever beat him. Nobody can beat him. We're about to become slaves. That's basically what everybody else was thinking. If you think like everybody else is thinking, which is looking at the obstacles, looking at the challenges, what are you going to get? You're going to think yourself into inaction, or you're going to run right into the obstacles and do nothing. Tony Robbins talked about that. When you're driving a race car, if you look at the wall, you're going to crash into the wall. But if you look at the road, you'll stay on the road. Whatever you focus on, you create. Whatever you focus on, you attract. David was so focused on the reward, he didn't care about the obstacles. So what does that matter for all of you out there? You get focused enough on your reward, you won't be thinking about what are the challenges, obstacles, setbacks, what could possibly go wrong, what are the pitfalls. But you might be thinking right now, well, look, we can't act like the pitfalls don't exist. We can't act like the challenges don't exist. We can't act like the obstacles don't exist, Dre. And you're absolutely right. Well, here's how you fix that. See, when you're looking at the challenges, obstacles, pitfalls, and setbacks, all it means is that the reward is not big enough. See, if I told you to run naked 1 mile around your neighborhood right now, you probably wouldn't do it because you're like, that don't make no sense. You know, it's cold outside. Somebody might see me. I'm gonna be embarrassed. You know, I might get arrested for indecent exposure. You're thinking about all the setbacks, obstacles, pitfalls, all the reasons why that's not a good idea, right? But if I told you run naked around your neighborhood for 1 mile and I'm gonna give you $1 million, you wouldn't be thinking about what anybody else thought of you while you was doing it. Why? Because you're getting the reward. You know what the reward is at the end. See, if the reward is big enough, the obstacles don't matter. When the reward is big enough, the obstacles don't matter. So if you right now, whatever you're going for in your life, are looking at the obstacles, you're looking at all the challenges and things that could possibly not work, all it means is that the reward that you're focusing on ain't big enough. Or maybe you're not focusing at all on the reward. When the reward's big enough, you won't worry about what could go wrong. Because guess what? It don't matter if it goes wrong because you're still getting that reward. Everybody catch what I'm saying here. My name's Dre Baldwin, and what I was going to say, programs. I got a program called Bulletproof Mindset, which will be available April 1st. You can pre-register for that course right now at dreallday.com/bulletproof. dreallday.com/bulletproof. I'm going to post it on Instagram this morning. My Instagram is at Dre Baldwin. My Snapchat also at Dre Baldwin. My Twitter is at Dre All Day. My website is called dreallday.com. If you go there, I'll give you my first book. It's completely for free. dreallday.com. My first book's Buy a Game. I'll give it to you for free. Just go there, put in your email address. I'll send you that book for free, PDF version that you can read on your email. Everybody, work on your game. dreallday.com. Sure, you get my first book, Buy a Game. It is free. Click the link right here below in the video description. I'm on all your favorite social media platforms: Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. All the links are right down here below. Is either Dre Baldwin or Dre All Day on each one of those sites. And make sure you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button down there and the thumbs up like button. Subscribe so you catch all the new content. Work on your game. Dre All Day.